I have a piece of history in my hands. In 1962, Gibson purchased a circuit design from Nashville recording engineer Glenn Straty and Nashville radio engineer Revis Hobbs, who set out to do something never done before. They invented the guitar pedal. But before then, all the effects, they were either built into an amplifier, tricks achieved in the studio, or they were large standalone pieces of equipment. So this was revolutionary, and today we are going to dive into the 1962 Maestro Fuzz-Tone FZ-1. This pedal was made by Gibson, and this one serial number puts it in the first 500 ever produced. So how did I get this thing? Well, this pedal is my father's, and he purchased it new in 1962 from a music store in Ames, Iowa to use with his bass, which, believe it or not, is how the fuzz was first used, on a recording of a bass. You see, Grady Martin was recording his hit song, Don't Worry, when they noticed that one of the channels on the board was going bad. It kind of produced this like thin, woolly, hi-fi sound, and Grady and the engineer Glenn Straty loved the unique texture and used it for the bass solo on the song. Now my father, he never really loved the effect, but for some reason he held on to the pedal. So let's go ahead and hear the thing with the bass, and although the song I'm going to play didn't originally use a fuzz pedal, I like the way it sounds, so let's give it a shot. Let's shorten up the riff a touch. But these pedals really didn't catch on at first, especially considering that the going rate was $40, which is the equivalent of over $400 in today's money. So they sat in stores for years until 1965 when Keith Richards chose to use it on their hit song Satisfaction. Funny part is that Richards never planned to keep this track of his guitar using the Fuzz-Tone FZ-1. He had a vision of horns being played and used the pedal just to create a scratch track. You can hear how it was never intended to be used on the finished product, because when you listen to the song, you can actually hear the click of the pedal being engaged, and sometimes you can hear Richards coming in late with the riff or the effect. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play the riff, but you should go back and actually listen to the actual recording and hear all those weird little discrepancies. And that riff is a great example of what I think fuzzes are good for: single or double note lines. Full chords with fuzzes generally lose clarity of the notes. I personally prefer fuzz with single coils or lower output pickups. And this is partly because fuzzes are thin and buzzy and aggressive. I find the full chords and higher output pickups make the texture of the tone a little more mushy and grainy. Just not my desired effect. here's what I mean by like single note lines or double note lines. See how at the end I did a chord and then it's kind of garbly, you know, but when I did the other stuff, that's only a couple of notes, and it just seems to be more texture, a little bit better, at least for me. I like that. Now, if I were to instead maybe use a low output humbucker, maybe that'll sound a little bit different. Yeah, so everything was fine until all of a sudden I did kind of the fuller chord, and then it just kind of got mushy, at least to me. And that's better. Now, I had said that I had preferred single coils and lower output pickups, and that's just more for my style of how I play. High output pickups totally work, and actually they give you more of that sustain to it, like this. And that sounds awesome. But you have to watch out with those double notes and some of those full chords because it can get a little more grainy. But then again, you might like that sound because it does have a cool texture to it, you know? And the other thing that you can do is you can also drop down the volume a little bit. And the volume with high output pickups, that actually is really cool too. So I dig that. That's cool. Now, one of my favorite guitars to use with a fuzz is actually a P90. I don't know what it is. I feel like I can do anything. Almost like it's an overdrive instead. So there I was using full chords, and I didn't think it sounded bad at all. Of course, single note lines sound great too. Love that. And then there's just some sort of a cool texture and chime when you're doing some of these octave type sounds. So cool. All right, let's take a closer look at the pedal. And one of the first cool things that I noticed is it reminds me of a doorstop, you know, in its shape. Also, it has a switch right here to turn the effect on or off, but believe it or not, it is not the only way to turn the effect on or off. On the other side, you have the volume and the attack. So here's the volume, and you'll notice right there it says off. That's because you can turn it on and off right here as well. So if you have this on off and you go to hit the switch, nothing happens. You have to have the effect on. Okay, so interesting. Also, you end up having the attack right here. Attack basically is the higher it is, the more buzzy it gets. The lower it is, the less buzzy it is. Okay. Another cool thing is it did come with a cable, which that's fun. And this is what plugs into the guitar. And then, of course, right here is where you will plug in a separate cable to go to the amplifier. As far as opening up the pedal to take a look, it's super simple. You just open it. It's on a hinge. Love it. Also, you end up having two AA batteries that run the circuit, so it is a 3-volt circuit. On the inside, you'll see directions on how to put the batteries, and of course, then there is the actual circuit itself. And that's pretty simple. Such a cool heirloom piece. All right. Well, with all that said, that's all the time we have for the Tweed Couch Guitar YouTube channel. If you like what I do, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Also, be sure to check out the podcast, the affiliate links down below, as well as our social media. But remember that you are your greatest asset. Until next time.